Alright, so here's my pre-release deck for Hour of Devastation. Um, this was obviously not my entire pool, but this was the deck I played. Um, Basically, it wasn't a great deck. I went 2-2 with it. Um, I kind of think it was on the cusp of that 2-2 or 3-1 type deck, but just ended up being a 2-2 deck. I actually conceded in the first match, so kind of really probably could have been like a 2-1-1, but there wasn't really any point because it was pack per win. So I just conceded that match. But yeah, basically the deck kind of the problem with it, I will say up front, is that I had a lot of 4 drops, 5 drops, and 6 drops. Um, I will say about the Granitic Titan, this particular card has cycling, so it's a 6 drop, but you have the ability to pitch it once you have 2 mana, so it's not too bad. But and same thing with Inferno Jet, and I actually killed an opponent with this as well. Dealing 6 to the face is like pretty powerful effect, I think. So those 2 cards I would say were great. I think the problem was in the 5 drop slot. I probably needed to get rid of, like, I don't know, one of these 3 cards, either Neheb, Ceradon, or Masticore Eternal. Neheb is a very powerful card, but I don't know if I really needed it in this deck. The fact that it's a 4/6 is very good. It blocks just about anything. So maybe I might have taken out the Manticore, but it's a tough choice. All 3 of these cards are very good. I think Final Reward just stays in because exile target creature having a clean answer to pretty much every creature in the set. I can't think of any that it doesn't hit. So that's a great card. Manticore was pretty good for me. Gilded Ceradon was pretty good. So I don't really know which one of those cards I would have taken out, but probably one of those cards I needed to take out. Torment of Venom, just an awesome card. If you get it and you're in black, you have to play it. If you're considering black, this is a card that is going to put you in black. It's almost every time it's going to kill a creature, and then your opponent, they have to do something. They have to lose 3 life, or they have to sacrifice a non-land permanent, or they have to discard a card. I mean, yeah, they get the choice to do any one of those 3 things, but it's even just the -3/-3 on its own is so good. So I definitely think if you're in black, you have to play this, because it's just basically kill a creature and do something else. Very good card. Merciless Javelineer, not a new card. It was in Amonkhet. Pretty good. Its weakness is the 2 toughness. Dies to a lot of things. It doesn't block very well, so it has those problems. Frontline Devastator, that is a new card. It's pretty interesting. I don't know that it's overpowered, but it is quite good if you have a board advantage. So I think it's definitely, usually if you're in red, you're going to want to play this. And then I had Hazaret. Hazaret was just absolutely great. Obviously, it has a weakness as well, which is that it can only attack if you have 1 or fewer cards. So there were times where I had to kind of wait to get it out, but the haste ability, in and of itself, if you get this out on turn 9 or 10, yeah, maybe you're not getting it out as early, but a lot of times you're just going to be doing 5 to the opponent, so it's very powerful. And then through here we have a lot of cards that are just kind of like staples in the red-black deck. You got like Minotaur Sure Shot. It's basically a 2/3 reach creature with like a fire breathing type effect. Open fire is like your 3 mana lightning bolt. Yeah, it's worse than lightning bolt, but you have to play it if you're in red, just because it's premium. It's just a premium card. It's just very good. Cursed Minotaur, not a new card, 3/2 menace. Let's see what we got here. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of trouble. Grizzly Survivor. I actually didn't play this card too much, and I didn't have a lot of cycling effects in this deck, so I think it could have been good, but I didn't really. It didn't really come up at all. So I would say good card, but I didn't really have a whole lot of experience with it. Kenra Scrapper. This card is just great. A 2/3 for 3 is fine, and then it has menace, and then you can exert it. So I think this is actually a very good card, and looks like it's at common. So I would say, if you're in red, you might be able to play like 2 or 3 of these if you get them, and I would definitely suggest playing this card. I think it's great, because a lot of times the menace is going to be a factor, and the exert is going to be a factor. So I think it's great at 3 mana. Sorry, all my cards are falling right now. Horn Moloch. It's kind of interesting because it has prowess and it has first strike when it's attacking. I think it's kind of similar to the Scrapper in that you usually want to play it if you're in red. But I could definitely see some decks maybe not wanting it. Thresher Lizard, not a new card. It's got the Heck Bent effect where it can become a 4/4. I think it's pretty great. And then I had this card. And this card did come up at one time, Bontu's Last Reckoning. Being able to destroy all creatures, always very powerful. The land drawback is a big drawback in limited. You're losing a turn, essentially, in a lot of cases. But it does also combo with Hazaret, in that Hazaret does not die to this. So, something to consider. My cards are all over the place. Alright, so let's kind of finish this up with the 1 and 2 drops. Without Weakness, Cycles makes a creature indestructible. Pretty decent card. I think it's actually a lot better than you might expect. So pretty decent. This is a very interesting card. Wall of Forgotten Pharaohs. So it's a 0/4 defender, but if you have a desert, or there's a desert in your graveyard, you can ping for 1. This did come up a few times, and I think it's a pretty good card. I think it's very good. You might think it's not great in a kind of a strong aggro deck, like this kind of seems like, but I really needed that 2-drop, and it did come into play. The desert ability did come into play a couple times. Kenra Eternal. I don't know that this is an overly powerful card, but it is a decent 2-drop, and it's better than a 2/2. So I think it is pretty good. We'll have to see how good Afflict 1 is. I don't think it's overly powerful, but it is a decent effect to get. And then you just got Ruin Rat, which is a Death Toucher, and if it dies, you exile a card. Really, the Death Touch is the important thing. Obviously, in a set like this, the second ability can come into play, but just having a Death Toucher is always great. And then I kind of finished it up with Kindled Fury. Target creature gets +1/+0, and first strike until end of turn. Combos really well with a lot of these cards that need they need to get rid of cards, like for example, the Thresher Lizard and like Hazaret. It's just good for emptying your hand. Good for using with the Javelineer to effectively block and deal damage and stuff like that. So then the last two cards that were a little bit out of the ordinary. I had Painted Bluffs, which is just kind of a filter type card. But Endless Sands is very interesting. You can exile a target creature. Oh, this was my pre-release promo, by the way. So you can exile a target creature, and then later you can sacrifice Endless Sands and bring that creature back. It's not insane in this deck. I was definitely looking at playing like a white deck that had more like enter the battlefield type effects to possibly, put them all under Endless Sands and then bring them all out at once. But I felt like that was kind of a Hail Mary sort of plan, so I didn't really go for that. And there were so many good cards in red black that I just had to play the red black deck. But I do think that this deck was pretty close to being a 3-1 type deck. I don't think that there were any massive misplays that could have gotten me to 3-1 if I had played better. So I don't really have a guilty conscience. Maybe I could have mulliganed a little bit differently. But yeah, I think maybe the problem, if there were any problems, it was in the high mana curve. But I didn't really have a lot of great 2-drops to fill in, so it was a little rough. So I would definitely say the importance in this format, the 2-drops are really key. Being able to hit a creature on 1 or 2 is very good. There's a lot of games where you don't get a creature until turn 3, and that's pretty hard to deal with. Then of course I had my lands. No big deal there, so I'm not going to go into that, but that's my deck. Hope you enjoy your pre-release if you get a chance. And if not, hopefully you enjoyed looking at my deck, seeing what kind of stuff you could build. Did get lucky, got two mythics there and a good board wipe, but just couldn't pull through and only went 2 and 2. But I did also get this. Got a nice little foil island full art, so pretty happy about this one. I know it's not crazy money, but kind of gets me back some of my money. So hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.